Hey, what's up? Let's start with a simple yet painfully uncomfortable question. When was the last time you sat and did absolutely nothing? I'm not talking about meditation. I'm talking about the moment the pause hits. The external noise disappears and your hand instinctively reaches for that little dopamine cigarette, your phone. Scrolling news and other meaningless videos. We fear silence, and we fear it because we've been taught being bored means being nobody. I'm Dimitri, and my ADHD brain is wired to constantly search for stimulation. I always believed that being constantly busy was a sign of success, proof that I wasn't a loser, that I was worth something. And that inner perfectionist screams, if you're not making money, if you're not creating content, if you're not growing, you're useless. That's why we are so scared. We've created a cult of toxic productivity where every minute must be scheduled, optimized, and monetized. But I'm here to tell you, and myself first, boredom is not laziness, it is a luxury, a superpower, your most powerful tool. We've forgotten how to use it, and that makes us miserable. This frantic activity is a form of cognitive inflation. We devalue our time by stuffing it with low-quality stimuli and confusing hustle with progress. By the way, tell me in the comments right now, when was the last time you sat and did nothing? I will definitely answer your questions or join the discussion. This is very important to me. Let's figure out why we desperately run from silence and ourselves. Why do we prefer to busy ourselves with any nonsense just to avoid staying in the pause? Our brain is an overindulged child. Every notification, every like, every new article we must read, it's a dopamine hit. Cheap, fast, easily accessible. Your brain, exhausted by constant stimulation, loses the ability to enjoy long, complex processes. It wants it now. We've become slaves to the dopamine economy, and when that flow of stimuli finally dries up, the brain panics. It gets unbearably bored and it demands, give me more, give me anything, just don't make me think. We fear that if we just sit down, we won't be able to get back up. We think that without an external whip, we'll sink into apathy, but this is a lie imposed on us by a world interested in us consuming every second. This continuous stream of stimuli atrophies our patience and our capacity for deep attention. The second reason is social validation. We live in a world where being busy is a virtue. Being calm and serene is suspicious. We are obligated to post our productivity, our success, and our achievements online. Remember how we weren't afraid as kids to raise our hand and say we could sing? We did it for ourselves. Then came school and society, and we learned to be accepted you must be useful and busy. We are more afraid of being called lazy or failures than we are of living someone else's life. So we fill our calendar with meaningless tasks just to be able to say, I don't have time to be bored. But this is a lie we sell the world to earn the right to exist. I have a video on my channel about how we constantly try to seek validation in society. I recommend watching it after this one. But the main reason we run from boredom is that it is incredibly honest. Boredom is the most honest compass. It arrives when all external noises are muffled, and it points out you are doing the wrong things. Boredom is a powerful signal of dissatisfaction with the current state of affairs, which prompts the brain to seek new activities or deeper meaning in life. Boredom exposes the truth. This job, these people, this hobby, they are just an escape. This discomfort, this confrontation with the true self is so intense that we are willing to scroll for hours just to avoid hearing the voice of our hearts. If you are bored, it's not a problem. It's a diagnosis. It's a signal that your ship is not sailing where you need it to go, and to change course, you first need to stop. So, what happens in our brain when we finally allow ourselves to be bored? Why is it so important for our system? Research shows that short periods of inactivity caused by boredom can reduce anxiety, giving our nervous system a necessary break. When you put down your phone, your brain doesn't switch off. It enters a mode neurobiologists call the default mode network. And this is the superpower. This is where insights are born. Remember Archimedes in the bath, Newton under the apple tree. Great discoveries don't happen at the desk. They happen during moments of low cost, passive attention. People who performed boring tasks showed higher productivity in generating ideas than those who engaged in interesting ones. Short-term inactivity doesn't just activate the DMN, it develops your creativity as a superpower. Creativity is not forced, it is allowed to happen. We replace external stimulation with internal, deep informational processing. If you run from boredom, you remain a victim of external stimuli. You don't control your life, you simply react to what is thrown at you. You are like the person who constantly blames their parents, their ex, their illnesses for being unhappy now. In a moment of boredom, you realize the past doesn't define my future unless I myself give it that power. You stop being a victim and start being an author. True desire is quiet. It doesn't scream like the fleeting dopamine craving. True desire is a deep, sometimes frightening aspiration for life change. You can hear this voice only when the external noise subsides. Boredom is the acoustic room where you distinguish your goals from those imposed by external markers of success. This is the time for self-reflection. Periods of boredom give the brain a pause to analyze your life, goals and values, re-evaluate priorities and determine directions for personal growth. Neurobiologists state that boredom activates brain regions associated with self-reflection, which helps us realize what is truly important. If you don't know what you want, you don't know how to live. And if you don't know how to live, you will constantly seek validation from others. Boredom is your chance to break this cycle. When you stop reacting to external demands, you start shaping your own life's architecture. So let's speak about how do you do boredom correctly so that it brings benefit. First and foremost, eliminate external stimuli and create friction. If you get bored, don't reach for your phone. Take it to another room or at least put it face down 3 meters away from you. Create a physical obstacle between yourself and the dopamine drug. You can define a work zone and a boredom zone. In one you only work and in the other you only rest. Use short moments of silence, waiting for the elevator, brewing coffee, standing in line. Don't take out your phone. Look into space, it will tell you more. You don't need to lie down in the lotus position. Start with a routine, monotonous activity that occupies the body but frees the mind. For example, it could be a walk along a familiar road without headphones, or washing dishes, ironing, or hand cleaning. Doodling on paper is also an excellent option. Don't draw a masterpiece, just move the pen until an idea comes. This activity keeps the body busy but allows the DMN to wander freely and connect ideas. When boredom sets in and the brain demands activity, don't grab your to-do list. Instead, dream phonetically. Do not just want a house. Build in your mind. Do a detailed sketch, create a collage from magazines, or write down in detail what your ideal life looks like. Imagine the texture of the wood, the smell, the light from the window. This transforms passive boredom into active mental construction. Your brain uses free time to work through details that will become your plan. When panic comes, I must work or I shouldn't just be sitting, stop and talk to yourself. Ask, what exactly is worrying me right now? What makes me feel guilty about resting? Only through this honest dialogue will you understand where your true desires end and the imposed program begins. You will learn to control your brain, not the other way around. And remember, boredom is not filled, boredom is used. It is your personal creative catalyst. It is your most honest compass. It is your chance to stop being a victim of circumstances and become the wise author of your life. And stop. Give yourself this chance. Stop confusing activity with value. True value comes from understanding yourself. Boredom is the only way to hear it. If you watch it until this point and feel like you've found your personal superpower, please hit that like button. This helps me understand that the topic of silence and inner work is important to you. And if you want to keep building a life free from toxic productivity, subscribe to this channel. And I sincerely ask you, the next time you get bored, don't reach for your phone. Be bored. Talk to yourself. Find that idea that will ignite the fire and allow you to truly embrace yourself. Share in the comments what was your biggest revelation and which of the 4 principles of structured boredom will you try today. I read and wait for your answers. And by the way, don't forget the link to the video about social validation that I mentioned is waiting for you in the description below. And see you there in the happy life.